Unknown Number, The High School Catfish, a documentary currently streaming on Netflix, runs for about an hour and a half about two high school teenagers that are cyber stalked and the investigation behind who did it and why. I already knew who the perpetrator was before I watched it because that's how social media is. So if you don't want to know who the perpetrator is, click off this video. So I already knew who it was, but I wanted to watch it anyway, just based on everybody's commentary. It was some other things I wanted to check out. After I watched it, I didn't know if I wanted to do this as a Terry takeaway, a question that needs answers, or to do it over on my legal channel. It was so much. It was so much confusion. My flabbers were gasted, and I was irritated, and I was pissed. These two high school teenagers, Lauren and Owen, start receiving text messages from an unknown number. Very disturbing text messages, to say the least. Some sexual text messages in there as well. No calling her ugly, saying Owen didn't want her, discussing her skills in the many sports that she played. A lot of vulgar sexual text messages as well. And this went on for a little under 2 years. It is the very definition of what the hell, what the helly, what the helliante. And when I say this may be an unpopular opinion, everybody failed. Everybody in the situation failed them children. And that's my opinion. Let's start with once they finally reported what was going on to the school. And the investigation that they attempted to have was so ridiculous. Hey, let me know when you get a text messages, and I'm gonna look at the footage and try to figure out which kid was sending the text messages. It's a high school with a bunch of teenagers, and once they hit the hallways, everybody is on their phone. And I cannot believe, first of all, that they thought it was a good idea, and then they had the audacity to say it out loud, like that was a good plan to figure out who was harassing these kids. The police or the detectives or whatever they want to call themselves obviously just got the title without any real training. Now, I understand it's a small town, maybe it doesn't have a lot of crime, but them detectives did not detect. Their police work sucked. They failed them kids. So the school and the police could not figure out what was going on. Every tactic that they tried to use to investigate failed. Let's go over to the parents. All the parents of both kids, all the parents, right? They did not want to change the kids' phone numbers. They could not block the number because it was an unknown number. But you couldn't get a burner. I would give my phone, because if I'm paying for a phone, a service that is causing me that much stress on a daily basis, give the phone to the police. You don't have to get rid of the number. They can continue their investigation, but I'm getting me a new number. And they probably would have helped them in the investigation, because if they started getting text messages on the new number, then it would have proved what we all saw, that it was obviously somebody in their circle. It's to the point that they are accusing other children in the town of doing it and actually attacking those kids. To me, like wanting to really invade these other teenagers' privacies to prove, who is sending these text messages. And next, we're going to skip over to the father. And I feel like he didn't get enough smoke in all the commentary I've seen. Because, sir, were you awake? Were you there? Did you live with your wife and your daughter during these 2 years? Because that woman, the mother, ends up being the one sending the text messages, obviously has some mental issues. And you can't tell me that this was the first time that these mental issues came up to the surface. You can't tell me that. You didn't see nothing during this whole time. There's something wrong with that mama. And you can't tell me that father didn't see anything. Then we're going to get to the fact that she had not been to work in like a year. Sir, how you don't notice that your wife not going to work? Not a work at home job. A work where you got to get dressed and go somewhere. So what are you doing? Did you have another family somewhere that you didn't notice that your wife wasn't going to work? You didn't notice that extra income wasn't coming into the household. So the only thing that I give that father credit for is that when it finally came out and they was confronted by the police, that, he cut off all contact. He ended up divorcing the woman and getting full custody of his child. But for them 2 years that he was just, I don't know where he was. I promise you, I feel like he had a family in another city, because there's no way that he was living in that house and he didn't recognize nothing what was going on, because that mama got some mental issues. So we're gonna get to the mom. They finally get the FBI involved. They figure out that it's the mother. The police go to tell the mother and the daughter at the same time. What procedure is that? What? Where have you ever seen them tell the suspect and the victim at the same time that they've solved the case? I was so irritated. The way that mama sat there, she didn't know what was going on. Finally confesses that barely confesses, but she doesn't deny it, that she's the one doing the text messages. She starts hugging on the daughter. I was so irritated. I wanted to knock her head off her shoulders. And I was like, why are you letting the mother have any contact with her? Why are you doing this in front of both of them? And the daughter's sitting there in shock. And I was like, oh, this baby is traumatized. Because she still wanted her mother. She didn't want her mother to leave. Even when her mother ends up getting charged and going to jail, she still wanted a relationship with her mother. And the fact that it don't sound like that nobody in this whole situation got some therapy. When I say they need some intensive therapy, the mama, the father, the boy, everybody involved needs some therapy. Because that's a level of trauma that I can't even comprehend. This mother is sending text messages playing on her daughter's insecurities about her looks, about her weights, about her abilities. You know how diabolical that is? There's no way that woman ever really loved that child. You can't tell me no different. The mother denies sending the initial messages, so she's still lying and still living in that lie, and says that it was based on her own past trauma and her way to try to control her daughter. All of it sounds like some BS. She was charged with 2 counts of stalking a minor for her daughter and her boyfriend and 2 counts of communicating with another to commit a crime. She pled guilty to 2 counts of stalking, and a month later she was sentenced to serve 19 months to 5 years. She was paroled in August of 2024, so she served about a year and 5 months. And she will remain under supervision until February 2026. And during this time, since it is a stalking charge of a minor, she is not permitted to see Lauren, but she has been able to contact her via text messages and phone calls. Why? So many unanswered questions, so many stories that they did not delve into, that I feel like is the real reason why this woman did this. Of course, it's just salacious and such an unbelievable story that, we get this documentary. But I feel like there's so many angles that we didn't get full clarification on, and so many questions I still need answered. But let's start with therapy, and I blame the father. Deuces.